On one hand, they're banning handguns. On the other hand, they're pushing through Bill C-5, which tells criminals, don't worry. If you're convicted of a gun crime, you just hang out at home for your sentence. This is not keeping communities safe, and it is not reassuring to moms and dads who are worried about their kids. So, will the Prime Minister get serious about keeping vulnerable communities safe, scrap Bill C-5, and legislate tough penalties for gun criminals?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, it's absolutely true that we move forward to present legislation that, once passed, will make it no longer legal to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. At the same time, Mr. Speaker, the Bill C-5, the legislation does not stop police from charging people with gun offences or prosecutors from pursuing convictions. What it does do is make sure criminals face serious penalties while addressing the overrepresentation of Black Canadians and Indigenous peoples in the criminal justice system.
Hear, hear. Right. Of the opposition.
I'm a mom, and I know all of us want our kids safe in their schools and in their communities. That's why I'm so frustrated with what these Liberals are doing. They're banning guns, and then when the criminals ignore their gun ban and use the guns to rob someone or commit a carjacking, the Liberals are letting these gun criminals do their time at home. How can the Prime Minister claim to be keeping people safe when he refuses to have jail time for violent criminals who ignore his useless gun bans and are hurting and terrorizing our children?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, our criminal justice reform legislation turns the page on failed Conservative policies that ignored systemic racism and discrimination. What our communities need is a justice system that punishes criminals. What we don't need is a system that targets racialized people because of systemic discrimination or sends people to prison because they struggle with addiction. This bill is another step forward to create a system that is fair, effective, and keeps Canadians safe.
The honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, the fact is that violent gun crime has only gone up under this Prime Minister. Actually, it's gone up significantly since he's formed office, and the data proves this, Mr. Speaker. He has failed to keep Canadians safe from gun violence in our cities like Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Winnipeg, and at the same time, he's been weak on violent crime, soft on criminals by allowing them to avoid jail time with bills like Bill C-5. Mr. Speaker, when will this Prime Minister drop his failed approach, stop putting our communities at risk, and go after dangerous criminals with guns?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, on this side of the House, over the past 7 years, we've continually moved forward on strengthening gun control in this country. And that's exactly what we announced yesterday, making it no longer legal, as of the passage of that legislation, to buy, sell, import, or transfer handguns in Canada. On top of that, the assault weapon ban that we brought in place 2 years ago is going to be matched with a mandatory buyback. These are measures that are going to keep our communities safe, measures the Conservatives vote against because they're against gun control.
Honourable member for Kildonan St. Paul.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is misleading Canadians. Bill C-5 and the other measures by this Liberal government are failing to keep our communities safe. They are putting them at risk. If they wanted to stop gun violence, they'd put more resources to border agents to stop gun smuggling. They'd put more resources to police to stop violent criminals with guns. They'd put more resources for anti-gang community groups to divert youth from a life of crime. That's how you stop gun violence, not useless gun bans or bills like Bill C-21 that will do nothing to stop gun violence in this country. Isn't that right, Mr. Speaker?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
While Conservative members parrot talking points from the gun lobby, we will continue to act on keeping Canadians safe. That's exactly what we've continued to do over the past many years and what we continue to move forward with on stronger gun control, while at the same time we do invest in communities, while we do invest in more tools for CBSA and RCMP to interdict guns at the border. Indeed, over the past year, we interdicted twice as many guns as we had the year before. Our plan is working, Mr. Speaker. We're going to continue to keep Canadians safe.